Hello there, Watson here, back with another review. So, the game that I'm going to talk about in this month is Final Fantasy Tactics, the Ivalice Chronicles. I finished it like a week or so ago now, and I'm just getting around to like recording the review and stuff. So, for me, this is the first time I ever played Final Fantasy Tactics. I played Tactics Advance on the Game Boy Advance. Absolutely loved it. Played it for hundreds and hundreds of hours. But this is the first time I played the original Final Fantasy Tactics. I did play the War of the Lions version on PSP for about an hour. I literally bought a PSP to just shut my brother up from annoying me. He was going on and on and on about how like he'd got a PSP and I didn't have one, so I just went out and bought one. Wasn't really something that I was interested in playing at the time. Handheld, it's just one of those things. I did buy War of the Lions, and I bought Final Fantasy IV, the After Years as well. I'd never played that. They're on the shelf over here, they're on this shelf somewhere. But yeah, this is the first time I played Final Fantasy Tactics, and I thoroughly enjoyed my time playing it. I didn't expect to. I don't really play strategy RPGs a whole lot. I kind of dabble in them every so often, but they tend to not be my main focus. If you've seen any of the other Let's Plays and whatnot on the channel, it tends to be more turn-based RPGs that I prefer, and then action RPGs. So, the strategy RPG side I tend to not dabble with a lot, so stuff like Fire Emblem I've only played one of. There's a Miasma Chronicles Let's Play on there, which I played because a friend had worked on it. But other than that, I've kind of stayed away from those sorts of games. Not that I don't enjoy them, it's just more I prefer other types of games, I guess. I should probably spend more time playing some tactics games at some point, but I digress. So Final Fantasy Tactics is a strategy RPG by Square Enix. It sees us take control of Ramza, who is the, I believe, youngest son of one of the lords in the game. And it's very much a case of you fighting for what's right. Both of Ramza's brothers are on the side of one of the dukes, and then they're fighting against the other duke, the Black Lion and the White Lion. I believe that's what they were called. It's been like 2 weeks since I played it, and I played Pokemon a lot since then. So yeah, there's the two warring sides, and Ramza's sort of in the middle, trying to do what's right by the people, which makes sense. He's trying to help this princess and whatnot, the royal family, who's sort of in the middle. And yeah, most of the fights tend to take place on a tactical board, and then you move the characters around to fight. The story itself was really good. It was really well done. It actually got to a point near the end where I was kind of like, I either missing like a huge plot point here or something, or it's just going to kind of finish and it's kind of going to miss out a chunk. But surprisingly, it didn't. The way that it ended was quite satisfying, considering how I thought it was going to be rushed towards the end. Some Final Fantasy games tend to be a bit rushed towards the end. It tends to not be well paced. You kind of get a long drawn out early sequence, and then like the last sort of third of the game's just, whoop, we need to get it finished. But Tactics kind of didn't do that. As I said, it kind of got to the end in a well-timed manner, and it made sense to the plot. It didn't really miss anything out, which was really good. Graphically, the remastered version looks phenomenal. Everything looks great in its HDness and whatnot. I don't tend to really put much stock in graphics anyway, but to me it looked great. So the voice acting, as always, was done really well. You've got the usual cast of characters come back for all of the characters. Ben Starr's in it again, because Ben Starr's in everything these days, and I forget his name, Cody something or other for Cloud, because Cloud's in the game, because at the time they decided they were putting Cloud in because they needed us Westerners to know a character, despite the fact that there's no reason for Cloud to even be in the game. But yeah, it's a fun time, especially if you enjoy strategy RPGs. As I said, the game really blew me away with the story. But as always, part of these videos is that I talk about the achievements as well. So let's get to it. So the achievements for Final Fantasy Tactics, the Ivalice Chronicles. I have read that there is a way to do this so that it will instantly pop all of the achievements. If that's something that you want to do, then by all means look it up and go ahead. I'm not going to talk about how to do that in this video. That's not what I'm about. I enjoy playing Final Fantasy games. I've almost completed all of them at this point. So I did this the right way. I suppose it's not really a right way. I did this the normal way. The hard way, I guess. But yeah, we're going to start off with In Pursuit of Truth, which is complete the prologue, which is story related. Practical application: use an action ability with a party member during battle. Each party member will have abilities based on their job. There's a very deep job system in the game where you can learn abilities depending on the job, and then you can mix and match so that you can have a black mage with white magic, or you can have a knight with dragoon jump, or that sort of stuff. So it's a pretty deep job system, which was really cool. Learn an ability with a party member: when you attack, get attacked. No, sorry, not when you get attacked. When you attack, or heal, or do some action, something like that, that character will learn, get job points, and then the job points can be used to buy abilities in the job list. So that's that one, learning the ability with a party member. Acquire an ability from a crystal. So when a character dies, if they're not revived within 3 turns, they turn into a crystal or a chest. If it's a chest, you get an item. If it's a crystal, you can use the crystal to either heal, or if it's a character that had a job, so if a white mage dies and you haven't learned any of the white magic abilities that white mage has, you can learn all of those white magic abilities just by picking the crystal up, which is a really good way to save time. For another achievement, remove an ally's status ailment or restore their HP 5 times using throw items. This is the first of many job-related achievements. And this one is for the chemist. The chemist has the ability to use items, and one of those is throw items. You can learn this as the chemist and then put it on a different character if you wanted to, but obviously the chemist is the easiest way to do it. It allows them to use items over a longer distance rather than being right next to a person. So you do that 5 times, sorted. A new path: change the job of a party member. So one of the things in the game is changing jobs to learn different abilities and stuff. Do that the first time, you'll unlock an achievement. Fighting back: knock an enemy away with counter tackle. So counter tackle is the Squire's counter ability. I believe it was the Squire that learnt this. What will happen is if someone attacks with a physical attack, there's a chance for your character to counter with counter tackle. If they knock them away down like a ridge or something, it will unlock the achievement. Finders Keepers obtained a buried item during battle. This again is a chemist's ability. If they go to certain tiles on the board, there's a chance that there's going to be a buried item there. Great Expectations, recruit a new party member from the Warriors Guild. The Warriors Guild is in pretty much all of the major towns, from what I remember. You can go in there and you can just recruit a party member. As anticipated, inflict damage on an enemy with a black magic ability targeted on a tile. Do this 5 times. So obviously the black mage can learn black magic, like fire and whatnot. You can either use it on a unit and your character will use it on that unit regardless of where they move, or you can decide to use it on the tile next to them and it will do damage in that way. So yeah, you do that 5 times, unlock the achievement. Expert in one field, learn all the abilities of a single job with one party member. There are several abilities per job that you need to learn. As I said earlier on, you can get them in the job points in various different ways. Learn all the abilities and you'll get that. Rams's first job, Squire. Is it Squire? I think, or it's whatever his job will be if it was Squire. You can't learn all the abilities and that until you've learned Ultima. So it's best to do it on a random character, I guess. Complete Chapter 1 the Meager, that is story related. In-Demand Worker, take on an errand at a tavern. So errands are little side quests that you can do. You can send your characters off and they'll go off, explore something or whatever, and then they'll come back after a couple of days and they'll tell you that the job's done and you'll get some money. You might earn a treasure or find like a place or something like that. So that's that. My Feathered Friend, Mount a Chocobo. So on some of the maps you will get monsters rather than people, and sometimes a chocobo will appear. You can go to the chocobo. If you go in the same space as the chocobo, it will mount the chocobo. Pleased to meet you, hatch a creature egg. If you have a creature of any variety in your party, well, not so much your party, like main roster screen, I guess. Over time it will give you an egg, and then the egg hatches over time as well, and then it will keep multiplying from there until the roster's full. It comes in handy later on for a different achievement. Fragility is exposed. Destroyed enemy equipment using Arts of War abilities 5 times. That is the Knight's main ability. They can break armor, they can break helmets, they can break weapons, all this sort of stuff. You need to learn the ability first and then use them 5 times. It'll only work on actual people because actual people have got armor and stuff on, whereas monsters don't wear armor, so you can't use it on the monsters. Read about 5 different people in the encyclopedia section of the Chronicle. There is a Chronicle where you can learn stuff about the game. It'll bring up like particular characters, stuff like that. Yeah, you just need to read about 5 people. Guaranteed hit, inflict damage on enemies 5 times using the aim ability. This is the Archer class. I think it was Archer. It might be Ranger or something like that. Pretty certain it was Archer. They get the aim ability. You just need to use the aim ability 5 times. Pretty simple. The manipulative and the subservient. Complete Chapter 2. Story related. The Scriptures of Germanique. Read the Scriptures of Germanique to the end in the reading material section of the Chronicle. Once you've done the mission in-game to get the Scriptures of Germanique, you can then go to the Chronicle and you can read them. Easy. Welcome Poacher. Use the services of a poacher's den. You need to learn the poach ability with the thief class, I believe. And then equip the poach ability. And then when you kill a monster, it will poach the monster's carcass. And then you can trade the carcass in for items, which we'll get to in a minute. Earth Rent Asunder. Simultaneously inflict damage on 2 or more enemies with Shockwave 5 times. Shockwave is the monk's ability. The monk learns Shockwave. It's basically an attack that will attack a column or a row, depending on which way you're facing, and will go through people. You just need to hit 2 or more at once. Kind of difficult to get them set up properly, but it's one of those. Once they're set up, you've pretty much done. The Valiant, complete chapter 3. Story related, makes sense. Secrets beneath Gaug. Watch the scene, the metallic sphere. That's in the Chronicles again. There are various different scenes that you can go back and watch. If you go to the story recap and look through, there'll be one for the metallic sphere. There's another one further up. Yeah, we'll get to that in a sec. Dependable fighters reach level 30 or above with 5 different party members. Just using the same sort of 5 party members every time you get into a battle will eventually mean that you get level 30. You're going to get well above that anyway, so. A thickening of the plot. Watch the scene Seekers of the Stone in the events section of the Chronicle. Again, go to the events section, look through, find Seekers of the Stone, and then watch the little movie to get that. I actually got that unlocked quite a bit before I actually realised where it was. But yeah, you just need to go to the events section of the Chronicle and look for it. Dizzying ups and terrifying downs. Inflict damage on enemies with jump 5 times. That's the Dragoon ability. The Poacher's Way. Successfully use Poach 5 times. Poach is the Thief's ability, so you need to learn that with the Thief. Proven Veterans reach level 40 or above with 5 different party members. Again, you're going to get that as you go through the game anyway. Master Adventurer in the title of Master Adventurer. That is for doing the errands for in the cities at the inns. Each of the different cities have kind of got their own little tasks to do. So, Seasoned Warrior reached level 50 with Ramza. Should definitely get that by the end of the game. Complete chapter 4 in the Name of Love. Story related. Achieved great success in every errand. There was 1 errand left by the time I'd finished the game, and I'm pretty certain it's tied to whatever star sign you pick at the start of the game. Because mine came up for it was like a Cancer tournament or something like that, because I'm born in July, so Cancer's my star sign. I'm pretty certain that's what it was. I'm not 100% certain, so don't count me on that, but that's what came up for me as the sort of last one. Which also earned me Master Treasure Hunter. So the errands will get you Master Adventurer, Master Treasure Hunter once you've done them all anyway. So Corrupted Souls deal the felling blow to 5 enemies with the white magic ability Holy. So you need to make sure that you actually kill the enemies using Holy, not just use Holy. I was doing it where I was just using Holy and then reread the achievement. So yeah, I won't successfully use Entice 5 times. I'm pretty certain that's the Orator job ability. Not 100% certain, but pretty certain that's what that was. Soul of the Sword utilised the hidden power of 5 different katana with Yado. I think that's how that's said. 100% certain. Basically, with the samurai, you will learn various different skills that will allow you to use abilities depending on what katanas you have. This will use up the katana. The katanas will break. So make sure you have a stock of them, I guess. Now you see me successfully use teleport 5 times. I'm pretty certain this is the movement ability for the time mage, if I remember correctly. You just need to move with teleport, basically, once you've learnt the ability. Mystical beings summon 5 different espers in battle. Pretty simple, that's a summoner class. You just need to summon 5 different espers. No shadow without light. Inflict status ailments on enemies 5 times with the Mystic Arts ability. I believe that was like Mystic Mage or something like that. It might just be Mystic. That's that abilities. Rare rares. Have 10 different items produced at Poacher's Den that cannot be purchased from outfitters. So for this one, I highly recommend looking at the list. There are certain items that can only be obtained from poaching certain enemies. Now, you can keep doing battles until you find these enemies. A lot of the time, it's the rare or the pristine carcass that you get. There's 2 different ways to get carcasses. You'll either get a normal carcass, or you'll get one with like stars next to it, which is like a pristine version, which will get you a rarer item. Only certain enemies have the rarer item, which can't be bought. Now, there is an easy way to do this. If you've tamed certain enemies, you can get them to reproduce, get the eggs, get them hatched, and then if it's the particular enemy that you want to get the rare item from, you can then put them in your team and then kill them in battle with whatever it is that you've got poach with, and it will poach the enemy, and then you kind of don't need to mess about with doing other fights and stuff like that and being like a man down for like 10 fights or whatever. So yeah, that's the way that I did it, by having the monsters in my roster and getting them to reproduce the monsters that I need. You need to do this with 10 different items as well, so it takes a while to do this. It's obviously RNG whether you get the pristine carcass. So yeah, like it took me so long to get. I think it was a blue dragon pristine carcass that I was trying to get for ages. It's just one of those where it's like you can have it RNG, you might do it in a couple of hours, it might take 10, it might take 100. Yeah, it's just one of those, unfortunately. And then we've got the Lay of the Land. Inflict damage on enemies with 5 different geomancy abilities. Depending on what square your geomancer is stood on, will depend on what ability they use. So you kind of just need to be on 5 different terrains. So there's stuff like being on grass, being on stone, being on wood, being in the marshes, that sort of stuff. So you might need to do this on a couple of different maps, but it's fairly easy to do. Throwing weapons, inflict damage on enemies with throw 5 times. That's the ninja class. That's the ninja's ability. It's just throwing items. When demons dance, inflict status ailments on 3 or more enemies at once with forbidden dance 5 times. Forbidden dance is the dancer class, which is exclusive to female characters. So you need to have a female character unlock the dancer class to be able to get this achievement. I had Agrius in my party the entire time, so a calculated attack, inflict damage on 3 or more enemies at once with arithmetics abilities without harming any ally. Unlock all of the arithmetics abilities first, and then kind of go through the list of the various different outcomes and stuff to find ones where it will only affect enemies and not your allies. You can kind of see which ones do which. So yeah, it's a little bit tricky to set up, but not too hard. Allow me a song, utilize power of 5 different bard song abilities. Bard is a male exclusive class. It takes place of the dancer. You just need to use Bard Song 5 times. Direct Imitation, use Mimic 5 times. Mimic is the Mimic class. It's the last job on the tree. You just need to use Mimic 5 times. If you do certain things, it will mimic it. So yeah. A Master of all trades, master every ability of every job with one party member. So the majority of the jobs are really easy to master. If it's a bog standard character and not like Ramza, you can go through all the jobs and you can learn all the abilities. Apart from Summoner. Summoner's the only one that you can't learn all the abilities on. To master Summoner, you need to get to the end of the Midlight's Deep. Midlight's Deep is a dungeon that unlocks after the game is finished. So once you finish the game, you unlock the Midlight's Deep bonus dungeon, which is 10 different levels with various different things going on. You kind of have to find the exit to the level to be able to go on to the next one, and you can't see the exit. It's just I think it's 5 random squares. There are maps online to show you where those exits are. That's what I used. Once you get to the last level of Midlight's Deep, there is a fight with the 13th member of the Zodiac, Serpentarius. That's the 13th member of the Zodiac. I can't remember the guy's actual name. But when you fight him, he has a chance to summon Zalera. I believe it's Zalera, it was called. It has to hit a character that has Summoner on for them to learn the ability, and they have to survive the attack. So you need to get to the bottom of Midlight's Deep, have a character with Summoner on during that fight, have the enemy use the summon on that character, and then they need to survive the attack, and then they will learn the ability. But that is basically the last ability that you will need for every job with one party member. Unless you've maxed everything else out before you go down there. Well, not maxed everything out before you go down there. That was the last one that I needed. And with that, the brave, the forgotten, uncover every truth that had gone untold. That is an achievement for unlocking every other achievement in the game. And that was Final Fantasy Tactics, the Ivalice Chronicles, and another Final Fantasy game 100% completed. Which leaves me with, as of recording this, Final Fantasy 15 left to do. Which, well, that and the Comrades multiplayer, which is separate on Xbox for whatever reason. Not entirely sure. And then Final Fantasy 11 and 14. 11 you can't do, and 14 I really don't want to do an MMO, so it is what it is. So yeah, Final Fantasy Tactics, thoroughly enjoyed it. If you're a strategy RPG fan, highly, highly recommend. If you're a Final Fantasy fan, highly, highly recommend. It was a good time all around, and I'm grateful that Square Enix finally bought the game out on modern consoles, so that us Europeans could enjoy it in its original form, I guess. You can play the original version as well. The original version is available within this game. I chose to do the remastered version. But yeah, you can play the original as well, which we never had over in Europe when it originally came out on the PlayStation 1, which is a shame. But yeah, this video is close to 30 minutes long, so I'm going to say thank you for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And I will see you soon for the next review.